I want you to sit with me for a moment, not as someone listening to information, but as someone remembering something they were never supposed to forget. Because what I'm about to share with you is not just a story, it's a structure, and you're inside of it. You've been taught that humanity has evolved slowly, randomly, accidentally. But what if I told you that you were designed? Not metaphorically, not spiritually in some vague poetic sense. I mean engineered. There are beings long before your recorded history who participated in what I can only describe as a genetic symphony. Multiple species, multiple dimensions, all contributing the pieces of themselves to create you. You're not just a human. You are a composite being, and you have a fucking biofield. Now, why would something like that happen? Why? Because Earth is not just a planet. It's a crossroads, a time matrix, if you will. A place where timelines intersect, where dimensional doorways exist, and some cannot survive without access to it. And they are called what is known as the Zeta. They were once highly advanced, unified, brilliant extraterrestrial beings. But they made a mistake. They attempted to merge dimensions to expand their existence, and instead, they fucking fractured it. Their genetics collapsed, and their ability to reproduce just failed. And their world began to die. So what did they do? They thought it would be a good idea to go backwards in time into systems like ours in this time matrix. And here, they found something that they need. It's you. Your biology, your genetics, your fucking biofield. But this is where it starts to become complicated because not all influence is the same. There are enlightened zetas, and then there are unenlightened zetas. There are also other types of beings that guide your development, that love to protect it and to watch you grow. These beings are like parents watching a child learn to walk. But these others, like the Zeta and other beings like, insectozoids and whatnot, they see opportunity. There's this conflict, not the kind that you see on the news, something much older, quieter, more precise. One side wants you to remember what you are, but the other needs you to forget. And this is where things start to show up in your world in ways that we were taught to dismiss. Crop circles, for instance, they're not random. They're definitely not decoration. They're frequency patterns. They are placed with intention. They are actually designed to interact with our biology, with our nervous system, our subconscious. Some help, some definitely do not. But even what you call abduction, for instance, is misunderstood. And it's vastly misunderstood on a level that you cannot currently comprehend, I am telling you. It's not always physical in the way that you think. We will start by suggesting it is a shift in frequency. It's where your mind and your body temporarily separate. They operate at different speeds. That feeling people describe of leaving their body, that's not imagination. That's mechanics. And even our oldest stories have been rewritten. Adam and Eve, for instance, not just two people. They were a code, a representation of DNA splitting into polarity. The fall, for instance, not sin. That was mutation and distortion. Oh, and the flood, a reset, a reseeding of the human line for like the fifth or sixth time already. So you begin to see this pattern where everything you were given has some truth in it, but they're all twisted just enough to keep you from seeing the full picture. And now we arrive to this moment. You listening to this, feeling something, hopefully. Not fear, not confusion, but recognition. Because the real question is not, is this true? The real question is, why does this feel familiar and what am I going to do about it? And if it does feel familiar, that something inside of you is waking up. Okay, now I need you to forget, just for this moment, everything you think control looks like. Because we've been trained to look at it in obvious places, like government, money, weapons. But what if control never needed to be loud? What if it was silent, constant, and inside your own body? Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a place and your mood shifted instantly? For no reason, you didn't have a thought, it was just a feeling. Maybe it was heaviness, anxiety, dread. Or maybe it was clarity. You think that's you, but what if it isn't? What if I told you that there are technologies that do not operate through machines you can see? They operate through frequency, and you are a frequency system. Your brain, your heart, your cells, all communicating through electrical and electromagnetic signals. You are not just a body. You're broadcasting in a receiving station. Now imagine something that knows how to interface with that system, not by touching you, but by tuning you. And this is where people start to stop listening and back away slowly, because this doesn't just sound crazy. It's real. It's invisible. It's easy to dismiss. There's evidence. All of this has evidence, and it's just been sitting in the fields all over the world. Crop formations. You were told they were hoaxes or art or maybe messages, but what if it was something else entirely? They're not drawn, they're not carved, they're imprinted into the electromagnetic field of the earth itself. And when they appear, they don't just sit there. They emit frequency. These formations can affect your nervous system, your emotional state, and your subconscious processing over distances of thousands of miles away. Now pause. This is the part where everything should click into place. If something can influence how you feel or how you think or how you perceive reality without you knowing, then control doesn't need force, does it? It just needs access. And access is already built inside of you. Some of these frequency structures are designed to help, to stabilize, to awaken, to counteract other influences. And others are designed to scramble, to dull perception, to create confusion, to keep you from asking questions. So now we have to ask you something uncomfortable. How much of what you feel is actually yours? And if that question unsettles you, good. Because that means you're starting to see the edges of the picture. Now let's go deeper. You've heard of stories of people being taken, abducted, floating out of their bodies, frozen in place, unable to move. You were told that was sleep paralysis, hallucination, imagination. But what if those things are just partial explanations? What's actually happening is something far more precise. Your mind and body were being separated by frequency. Your consciousness was accelerated. Your body was slowed. They're all still connected. They're just not synchronized anymore. And that's why it feels like leaving your body when watching yourself and being somewhere else. It's not just a dream. It's a desynchronization event. And once you understand that, you realize something else. If your consciousness can be separated from your body, then your identity is not limited to your body. And that is the one thing that's controlling the system inside of it. It does not want you to fully realize. Because the moment you understand what you are no longer easy to be influenced. And that's when the war changes. Not a war with weapons, not a war you can film, a war over perception, awareness, frequency, and attention. A war over you remembering yourself. So now I'm going to leave you with this. Not an answer, a test. Pay attention over the next 24 hours. Watch when your mood shifts suddenly, when your thoughts don't feel like your own, when clarity appears out of nowhere. And instead of assuming, just ask, where did that come from? Because once you start asking that kind of question consistently, constantly, honestly, you begin to see something. Patterns. And once you see the pattern, you are no longer inside of it unconsciously. You are observing it. And observation is the first step to breaking it.